So first of all, let's notice the what types of words these are, right? So this is a, you know what type of word this is? Noun,
I
verb,
think that
adjective.
was like come over.
Come over would be another one. That would be another one. Yeah. Come over is one.
So phrasal verb has different meaning like that.
That's the unique thing about phrasal verbs. Yeah. That's one of the things that makes them special is that they have a lot of meanings. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But the
Oh yeah.
structure is you have a verb. The first one is a verb, and then the next one is going to be either a preposition. Do you know what a
Yeah.
preposition is?
Yes, I know.
Can you
Preposition
give me
is
some examples?
mm, preposition. Like
I
oh,
grabbed the wrong coffee cup. It was
I'm
this one's
blank.
been
I'm blank.
has been dry for 2 days.
Oh,
Like across, like to, of, for, in,
oh,
at, by,
um,
around, from, with, that kind of word. And
yeah.
I see someone in the chat just put "come on." That would be one as well. Come on. If you guys have others, that's awesome. Or it
Mm,
could be an adverb.
yeah.
Adverb. So across could be an adverb or a preposition. It depends on how it's used. So either
Mm.
one is okay. All right. So and we have way more. I mean, we could do come across, come over, come on, come to, I guess. But let's stick with come across. Have you heard this one before?
I have that, but I don't really remember what's the meaning of it.
Well, there isn't only one. There's actually a lot of different meanings. So
Yeah.
what I would like to do is I'm going to give you an example, a couple examples, and then we can kind of explore it a little bit. Is that okay?
Okay, sure.
Okay, cool. Cool. So I'm going to pop up a few examples here, and then we'll see how it goes. Okay. Would you mind, Tika, would you mind just reading through these for me?
Okay, all of them?
Yeah, if that's okay.
Okay. I'm trying to not come across as rude, but I really need a plan as I asked for it last week. Could you send it today or tomorrow? If I come across any really interesting new musicians, I will definitely let you know.
Your pronunciation is really nice. Your pronunciation is great. You have very natural, clear pronunciation. You're really good at reading
Um,
too. Okay, so these are two different meanings of come across. Did you notice that? Let's start with this one. If I come across any really interesting new musicians, I'll definitely let you know.
think
Uh,
like cross my
if
or cross mine.
if okay, let me give you another one. If I yesterday when I was walking home, I came across a really interesting coffee shop that I had never seen before.
Oh, it's like
Or I could say yesterday I was reading an article and I came across a really shocking fact.
uh,
So I'm reading an article, I'm walking down the street, I'm listening to music, and then
sud- suddenly think about it.
you suddenly think about it because you discover it or find it. So it's kind of like, I would say it's kind of like discover,
Discover. So
but
I can
yeah,
write it. I will
it's a
write it.
it's a feeling. Yeah, go ahead and write it. Discover,
Yeah.
or maybe find by accident.
Oh.
Maybe find by accident would be a good one as well. But discover is kind of like that too. You know how if I think, oh, there's a coffee shop there, I'm gonna go
Yeah.
there and visit it. I didn't come across it because I planned to go there. I wanted to go there. I meant to go there. So I probably wouldn't use come across for that one. Come across is a feeling of, oh, what's this? Ooh, oh, interesting. That's usually the feeling we get.
The feeling like you just know about it.
Yeah, you just found it. You didn't know it. You didn't plan for it, and you just sort of found it.
Okay.
So let me
Cool.
ask you. Let me ask you a question, and maybe you can use come across to explain it. Right? Um, what's your favorite music group?
Music group.
Yeah, do you have a favorite
I
band or singer?
band singer. I think I like Charlie Puth.
Charlie Puth.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. I always see Charlie Puth on TikTok. That's how I know Charlie Puth. Isn't he the
Yeah.
guy who goes, what if there was a song that went do 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 do, and then he makes a song out of that? Right? Is that Charlie
Yeah.
Puth? He's got
Yeah.
curly
That's
hair. He's very handsome.
yeah.
Yeah. I just know him from TikTok, and then I realized, oh, he made those. I thought he was just a guy on TikTok, and then I
yeah.
realized, oh, actually, he's the guy who made these really famous songs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you find a Charlie Puth? How did you discover Charlie Puth?
Oh, when it was about when he released a song with Selena Gomez, We Don't Talk Anymore. I
Hmm.
tried to find
Ooh.
out about him.
So you just heard it. You just heard the
Yeah,
song. Yeah.
the
Do you remember
song.
where
Yeah.
you heard it? Remember what you were doing when you heard the song?
Uh, I immediately look for the song by the lyric because I don't know what's the title of the song.
Yeah.
Just find it on the Google, and I found it eventually.
But when you heard it the first time, what do you remember what you were doing when you heard it? Were you in the supermarket? Were you at home?
Oh, I think when I was hanging out with my friends in a high
Okay.
school.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Oh, and back in high school. Okay.
yeah,
Um, long
years
time
ago.
ago.
Yeah,
All right. So how would you? Cause, okay. So you were hanging out with your friends, and then you heard this song, and then you went and you searched it, and you found, oh, I like Charlie Puth. Could you use the phrasal verb come across to describe how you discovered Charlie Puth?
okay, so come across where when I was hanging out with my friends, I come across to something to an interesting song,
Hmm.
and I immediately tried to look for the song.
Yeah.
Is that?
Okay. There you go. Okay. I would add. I want to change one thing about your example. I was hanging out with my friends. That's
Yeah.
perfect. And I came because it's in the past. If it's
Oh
in the
yeah.
present, it's come. I came
Yes.
across, and then you used to. I would want to cancel to. A cool song. Okay, and then you would give the rest of what you said is perfect, right? So we just need come across, and we can imagine that we replace it with the word discover. I discovered a cool song. I heard a cool song. But it can be used for lots of things: walking down the street, reading something online, music. All this we can use come across for all of these things. It's pretty useful. Got it?
Yeah.
And you can, if
Pretty.
you want, you can practice a few more examples maybe after class. And if you want to send them to me, that's fine. I would be happy
Yeah.
to check them for
I
you.
will.
Okay, now the other one though, we have to now forget that completely. Just forget about that. Now we have another one for come across. I know this is a simple phrase, but it has so many meanings. Now we have it here. I'm trying not to come across as rude, but I really need the plan I asked for last week. Okay, so we were a little bit late for class today, and that's my fault because I had a technical issue, right? And if you had been a little frustrated, I'm not saying you weren't, but if you had been a little angry with me because you had other things to do, that would have been fine. That would have, because it's my fault. You could have said, I'm trying not to come across as rude, but I have some things to do, and these problems that you're having are not my problem. So let's reschedule, right? So you're saying something direct that's
Yeah.
maybe could seem a little bit rude, but you don't mean it that way. You're just trying to be honest. So come across then is similar to what word do you think?
Uh, Trying to be polite.
Well, it's not okay. Now, let me give you a slightly different example. Generally speaking, I try to come across as, because I'm an English teacher, right? So I try to come across as fairly casual and not too academic and strict because I don't think that's a good way to learn English. So I have, if that's my style, I want other people to feel that I'm not trying to explain things, in a very formal way. I want to seem that way to others. I would like to seem that way. Whether it's true or not, it's kind of like seem to others. Seem to others. So, so how do you think you come across to your friends? How do
How
they well, how do you seem to them?
they're kinda uh, in my friend usually not on time.
Okay, your friend is not on time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay, that's actually a good example. Your friend, you have one friend who's always late, right?
yeah.
Okay. What type of person is always late for things? What kind of person do you think?
When we have a plan
Yeah.
and I am waiting for her, but
Mhm.
she doesn't come yet
And
because she delayed.
how do you feel about that?
Kinda worried or kinda annoyed maybe
A little
annoyed.
annoyed? Okay. Annoyed, that's a
Yeah.
good word. Yeah. And um what type of person tends to be late all the time? Is there a type of
Mm,
person who's usually late for things?
Pardon?
If you're going to describe your friend, the person who's always late, how would you describe her? What type of person is your friend? He or she?
She
She.
maybe unresponsibility, unresponsible.
Yeah. Irresponsible?
Yeah,
For some reason it's irresponsible. This is called a prefix,
yeah,
and some prefix is a thing that goes at the beginning of the word, right? And
yes.
un, ear, these several others have the same exact meaning. So there's no way to know which one is which. For responsible, it's irresponsible, and maybe it's just how it sounds. I don't actually know. Okay, so maybe irresponsible. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Well, is she irresponsible, or is she an irresponsible person, or does she just seem that way because she's late sometimes?
She seems that way because when we have a plan, she usually delay like that, kind of late,
Right.
pretty late. Yeah.
But in general, in her life, is she an irresponsible person?
No,
No.
she
Okay.
is.
So the way that she seems in that moment when she's late is actually not the way that she is in general in her life, right? Okay. So when we use this come across, We're only talking about the way something seems in that moment, at that time. And it's not about whether it's true or not. Someone could seem irresponsible based on what they do, their behavior, but they're actually not really irresponsible as a person.
Oh, I got it.
So, can I ask you to make an example using come across, connect come across to her lateness, and
Okay.
then maybe you can mention that she's not really that way or not.
Uh, I don't really have the example. Can I use your example?
No, you can use the example of your friend. That's a perfect example. The example of your friend who's always late. That's a perfect example. So let's use that example. Uh, let's use that example and try to include come across in that example.
Okay.
You don't
Like
have to
I didn't
name names.
I didn't try to I didn't try to come across her as
Hmm?
rude, but
She.
she
Yeah. And also we're not using rude for her, we're going to use irresponsible instead of rude.
okay. So as is irresponsible. Okay.
She.
She okay. I didn't try to I didn't try to come across her as irresponsible because she was late at the moment.
Okay. So let's I'm going to make a small adjustment to that. So you feel that she might be irresponsible in the
Yeah.
moment when she's late, right? So actually she is coming across to you. And maybe I didn't explain that clearly, so that's my mistake. So let's say this is your friend. We'll just put F here, and this is you, Tika, right?
Yeah.
So when we say come across, it's kind of like they seem that way, but it's in this direction. If they seem that way, then they seem that way to you. So we might say, my friend comes across as irresponsible when she shows up late, but actually, she's not in general. You don't have to add that part, but actually, she is coming across as irresponsible because she's always late. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
For this example, I'm trying not to come across as rude. I don't want to seem rude, although I know that maybe I am a little bit. I don't want to seem that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Uh, good. Now you said you are a student, right?
Yeah.
So in university, and you
Yes.
okay. So you interact a lot with other classmates and things at school.
No, because I study online.
Oh, you study online. Okay, but do you interact with teachers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Through website.
Okay. How do you think you come across to your teachers? What
How do
feeling
I?
do you think they have about you?
I think kind of worried because they might,
They
they
think you're
might,
worried?
yeah, no, or like feel like just like student in general, but
Okay,
I
but I mean,
feel worried
yeah.
about them.
How do they feel about you though? How do you think they feel about you? Do you think they feel that you're very responsible, or do you think they feel you're very hardworking, or you're very creative? How do you think they feel about you?
I think they don't feel anything about me
They don't
because
feel anything.
I, yeah,
How is that
because
possible?
yeah, because I I don't usually text them in a private message. I just text them on in a group discussion, so they will respond to my answer, the discussion I gave to them. So I think they might think that I'm a little responsible for
Yeah.
doing my discussions.
Okay. All right. Very good. So there you would say I
I come across
as
as responsible student
to them. Yep,
to
exactly.
them.
Yep. Or maybe you don't know. So you could say I hope
I
I come
hope
across as a responsible student to them. I hope I do. Maybe you don't know how they feel about you because they haven't told you. But you could just say I hope I come across as responsible. I
yeah.
hope I come across as, and then you have your usually an adjective. Rude, responsible, polite, careful, hardworking, funny, interesting, boring, whatever it is, you usually put an adjective after that. So this is a really common pattern that you can use. Just circle that for come across. So that's the two most common meanings of come across. We have a couple of examples from the chat. What do you think about these? I think the distinguishing between perception versus reality. Yes. Abdo says distinguishing between perception and reality. It's it perception. Do you know what perception means, Tika?
Just we think that might be not true.
Yeah. Well, perception. It could be true or not true. That's the point. Is that we don't know. That's the perception. The perception is just maybe it is, maybe it isn't. So
Just like
perception versus real.
guessing.
Hmm?
It's like just a guessing.
It's a guess based on what you know, based on what you can see. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it could be wrong. Like if you see someone driving a really really expensive car, what's the perception?
They are rich.
Right. But that could be true or not. Maybe
Yeah.
they have 10 cars like that because they're really rich, or maybe they sold their kidney to buy that car. You don't know how they
Yeah.
got that. Some people cannot afford that expensive car, and some
Yeah.
people
Only
can,
for
and you don't know.
lifestyle.
Yeah, yeah, right. So yeah, perception is more like, well, this is what it seems like to me. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. Um, cool. Do you have any questions about come across?
So the means come across have a lot of meaning, like more than two.
Actually, there is another one that's pretty common, but we didn't talk about it because it's so basic. That would be something like come across a bridge. Like you're over
Oh,
there and I'm over here. You're on the other side of the bridge and I say, "Come across the bridge." That would be very physical meaning, like you, me, bridge. Okay, I'm going to attempt a bridge here. That's a bridge. Okay. And I yell because there's a thing to cross, right? This could be a bridge, it could be a road. I yell, "Come across." So it has to be in the direction of moving this way. Then I would say, "Come across the bridge." And then you might say, if I call you, I'm coming across the bridge right now. I'm coming across the bridge. You're moving across the bridge. So
oh,
that would be the
it's
very
like.
basic meaning. Mhm. I
But
didn't
can we
mention that
use
one though. Hmm?
could we use it for formal English?
Yeah, sure, for sure. I would say most phrasal verbs are neither formal nor informal. In fact, the difference between formal and casual English is there's not a big difference between the two. A lot of the time, formal English is just changing the way that we maybe adding some different phrases or using some different phrases. Like, for example, if I say, um, send that to me, email that to me, right? How does that feel? Polite? Not really.
I think it's neutral.
It's neutral. It could even be a little. It could even be a little too direct sometimes.
Um,
But if I add, would you mind emailing that to me? Or could you email that to me? Suddenly it feels different. If I just say, email that to me, it's like, pfft, it's kind of like a punch in the face. But could you email that to me? Would you mind emailing that to me? It feels much more polite and respectful. And a lot of formal English is just adding certain phrases to normal casual English. And the two are not that different. Although, of course, there are some expressions that are only casual and some expressions that are much more formal sounding. But that's a lot of the difference is things like that. For example, if you're writing an email, just the tone of the email is that kind of stuff. You change it. Okay, I think we could look at one more. Is it okay if we look at one more phrasal verb?
yeah.
Okay. I'm going to do I'm going to do take off, I think would be a good one to do. When you hear take off, what is your immediate what's your immediate thought? What do you think?
Take off to. I know that meaning. It's like to not use it.
Could you put it in a sentence for me?
Okay, take off. Uh, take off. I think he needs to take off his laundry.
Take that would be if the laundry is sitting on something, then yes.
Yeah,
If the
maybe.
laundry is sitting on a if the laundry is sitting on a surface, then yeah. What would the laundry be sitting on?
There, because someone was putting it there.
Putting it where?
Maybe on a car or
Okay.
something.
Don't know why we would put laundry in a car, but why not? Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
now
maybe the owner was too lazy to take it.
that works. Okay. Now it depends on a lot of things. So if we have our car, oh my god. This is a disaster of a drawing. I apologize. Okay, so this is a car. Uh okay, the laundry is here, right? Or here. Don't
Yeah,
laugh. Don't laugh.
I think it's a good example.
Okay. Now, we would okay, if the laundry is here or here, we would take it off of the car, right? But what if it's not there? What if it's, there? It's on the in the back seat of the car or on the front seat of the car. The laundry is there. Then then we couldn't say off anymore. Then we would have to say take the laundry. We'd have to use a different word. Or maybe it's in the trunk, right? Maybe it's inside here. What word would we have to use?
Uh, take off or take off.
Take
We
what?
need to take off.
Not we could use off if it's here, and we could use
Oh,
off if it's here because it's on the car. But if it's in the
oh,
car, then we can't use off anymore. Then we have to use a different word.
Take it.
Take it. We need to add one more. Take it.
Take it. The clothes.
We have to
The
add one
laundry.
more. Take the clothes
Taking it.
of the car.
Oh, the car.
We have to.
Uh,
What's the word
take,
there? Take them
take the
uh, of the car.
car.
What word should we put there?
Take them out.
Perfect. Right. So we have to make sure we use the right one. But yeah, now that's not the only meaning, but that's a good one to start with because that's the kind of I guess we could say the physical meaning, the simple meaning, like come across the bridge, right? That's kind of the meaning of there's things moving around, so it's simpler, right? Now, take out has other meanings too. So we won't talk about the other meanings right now, but we could explore that. The crazy thing about the phrasal verb is that it's just so many different ways to use them. So, okay, we could take the laundry off the car, but let's explore a couple of examples and see if we can pull out some other interesting meanings. Okay. So
Mhm.
would you mind reading through these three examples?
Yeah. The social networking app WeChat took off really quickly and soon overtook CC
QQ.
QQ in popularity. I saw the thief running away with my keys, so I took off after him. It's getting a little late. Maybe we should take off.
I really like your pronunciation of T. You have a perfect T pronunciation. So notice when you say, and this is for anyone watching this who has struggles with the T sound, the way that Tika says instead of little, which is the technically correct pronunciation, but unfortunately, nobody says it like that, right? The way that you softened the T sound to a very light D sound, you said little, little. So it's not a hard D sound, little, but it's a light, little, little, natural sounding D. That's perfect. And then you also sometimes you're using the a special type of T sound where it stops. So you could say late, but you could also say late without saying the T at all and just stop it, and that's very natural sounding too. Late, and then stop the voice. So that sounds great. Anyway, your pronunciation is really good. Um,
Thank
so let's
you.
just say there's a. Are you familiar with WeChat?
WeChat? Yes, but I don't use it.
Right. Well, I mean, it's mostly just used in China. Um, I used to live in China, so we used to use WeChat a lot. But this used to be really popular. So before it was QQ, and then it was WeChat. And maybe the same thing would be true for I don't know what's the most popular messaging app. WhatsApp?
WhatsApp, I guess.
Yeah. What else do people use
Mm, Instagram?
for messaging?
Yeah, I usually message my friend on Instagram.
Oh, really? I don't like the Instagram Messenger. I don't know. It just
Oh,
doesn't seem. Uh, maybe I just don't use it enough to feel comfortable with it. But I'm not crazy about that. And I find. Have you ever used the Facebook Messenger?
yeah, I use it, but no, my friend don't use it either.
I hate Facebook. It's the worst one ever. It's so confusing. I just don't understand what's going on. Um,
Yeah.
actually, most of them are. Most of them I don't like. I like WhatsApp pretty well, and I like.
What
You ever
about
use?
Telegram?
Huh?
Telegram?
I tried Telegram before, but I didn't have any friends who were using it, so I stopped using it. But it seems okay. I like WhatsApp. I also like Signal. Signal is pretty good.
Oh, Signal, yeah.
hmm And iMessage I use because I have an iPhone, but I'm not crazy about that one either. Okay, so what does this mean here? The social networking app, whatever, took off really quickly and soon overtook QQ in popularity. So what
Take
does
a position?
take off mean in this case?
Take
Huh?
place?
Hmm?
Take a place? The first place?
Like replace it? Okay.
Yeah.
Now
Replace it?
that's a very good guess, but while it probably did, this part means took the place actually. So if let's say that something is number 1, this thing is back here and it goes past it and becomes the new number 1. That would be overtake. We use the same word for becoming number 1, the new number 1, as we use for cars passing each other on the road. One car overtakes another car. Another car overtakes another car. Same word. But the took off one doesn't mean that it becomes number 1 exactly. It's close, but it's not quite that. Let's see. Can you think of someone or something that suddenly became very popular recently? Don't say Charlie Puth.
Something. Yeah.
Just some, maybe there's a music star who became very popular recently, fairly suddenly, pretty quickly, or maybe uh, anything that became very popular recently, just kind of suddenly became really popular, and everyone is using it or everyone is doing that.
Oh, I think BTS. Boy band.
BTS, yeah, okay. Do you like
But I'm not a
BTS?
fan of them.
Oh, you're not you're not in the army.
No, I'm not.
Isn't that what their fans are called? BTS Army? I think so. Um, okay, so let's use that. Let's use that example. How would we? So this means basically took off means to grow in popularity pretty suddenly. To grow in popularity, we can imagine an airplane leaving the ground. An airplane is on the ground and then it goes like that. And it leaves the ground. It's not popular, it's not popular. And then right here, it goes up and suddenly becomes popular or well known or famous or something like that. That's how we usually use this meaning of took off. So, how would we use that to describe BTS?
Their popularity increase because of they have a lot of hit song.
Okay. Okay. How would we say that? Say exactly what you just said, except we use take off or took off instead of rapidly increased.
Mm,
BTS. Do you know any of their hit songs?
I know. I don't
Me
know.
neither. I don't either. I'm ashamed to say I can't think of any. It's so embarrassing, but I can't think of any. Wait a second. There might be one. No, I don't want to mess it up, and I don't want to be wrong about BTS. I heard that's it's not good to be wrong about BTS. But okay,
Yeah.
let's just say some popular songs. How would we phrase that so that we can describe what happened?
Uh, I'm blank.
Okay. Well, we want to use this phrase. So just like this one, WeChat took off, right? So we could say the same thing.
Over
BTS.
two.
Well, let's not use overtook. Let's just use let work because we want to learn this phrasal verb here took off. So let's use that. But how would we then say something after it? Maybe the reason that they became popular or when it happened.
The
How,
uh position. Position.
Why did they take off? Why did they take off? You said it before. The reason they took off was
Oh, their song. They have a lot of hit song.
okay. Okay. But how do, when a new hit song uh gets popular, we say that the song was
Uh, booming.
well, actually booming and took off are quite similar. So if something is that's a good word to use. Um booming means something is really popular and really growing right now. So that's actually a good word. But it's similar to took off actually. In a way, it's similar to that. Maybe we could say what happened that caused them to take off, uh, starting with something like when. BTS took off when, and then we would say what event happened that caused them to suddenly become popular, which would be about their
Concert.
songs. Maybe it's a specific show that they did. It could
Yeah.
have been a specific show. If we can say what is the thing that happened that made them suddenly grow in popularity, then we could put that there. If it's a specific show concert that they did in 2018, then we would put that there. We would say took off when they did their show in Seoul, whatever it is. So,
Mm,
but you said before was the popular songs, right?
yeah.
So how would we say that?
When they start, when they started to release an album,
Yep, when they released their oops,
their
that's an I can imagine there's an
their
I there,
song.
please. Thank you. Their first maybe it was their first album. I have no idea. Or
Yeah.
we could be wrong about this. This could be very bad for us if we're wrong about this. I heard that BTS fans they'll come after you if you get things wrong. Their first.
I'll, 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 I'll,
Apologies.
I will really welcome them if they come
Yeah,
to me.
please, BTS fans, teach us, educate us. We wish to know. The
Yeah.
no harm is meant with incorrect information here. Then they released their first album, and then we would say maybe their first album, and then say the name, blah blah blah, uh,
Yeah.
in 2000 and uh, whatever. The lack of knowledge here. We should probably use things we know, but that's the idea, right? That's the
Yeah.
idea. This is they took off when, or they took off. Maybe we could say in this year. Um, it's basically just marking this moment here where the airplane leaves the ground, where the airplane goes up from the ground. We can imagine instead of it being an airplane, because we use takeoff for an airplane, right? Instead of an airplane, we could say it's a band, or it's a singer, or it's an app, or it's a service, or it's a fashion, style of fashion, or whatever. Okay. Is that one pretty clear?
Yeah, I
Any
think,
questions
but
about
if
this
you
one?
ask me to explain it,
I think you can.
I'm sorry, I couldn't speak.
No, you're doing great. You're doing great. Okay, but I think this one is. I mean, this one is a little bit similar, but uh, unique enough. Do you know what a thief is?
It's like a burglar.
Yeah, yeah, somebody who steals something. And probably a burglar would be for. Usually, burglar is used for going into a home or a jewelry store or something like that. You go into a place and steal stuff. Um, thief could be used as more general, it's more broad. Sometimes if it's in person on the street and someone takes your stuff from you, then you've been mugged. So sometimes mugger, but we'll just use thief. Okay. I saw the thief running away with my keys, so I took off after him. What do you think that means?
Catch him?
Well, did I catch him though? Have I caught him yet?
No,
Not
you're
yet.
just
Maybe the next
you ran
sentence will
after.
be me catching him.
You try to catch him maybe.
Yeah, if I try to catch him, what do I need to do in order to catch him?
To take him.
Well, how if I see a thief going down the street really fast, I want to catch that thief. What do I have to do?
Mm, try to. Uh,
I mean, if I have
I don't know.
superpowers, I can just stop him. But,
Try to stop him.
but by doing what?
Mm,
He goes
run.
this way. Yeah, probably run. Maybe I have a motorcycle or something fast, right?
Yeah.
So actually this one specifically might be running, or actually in this case, ran would be past tense, right? But it doesn't have to be running. It
Ask for
just
help.
well, in this case, took off is about movement quickly, but it's about suddenly going from not moving. So here I'm not moving to suddenly moving forward in this direction. But it doesn't have to be running. I could be in a car. I could be in a on a motorcycle. I could be anything that can go quickly, basically, and can go from not moving to moving again. Take off. So, and it doesn't have to be going after someone either. It could be for any reason, right? And actually,
Yeah.
this could be used to talk about things going up into the air too. Sometimes we use this for birds, for example. We can use it for airplanes too. It's the same idea of it's not moving and then it goes like that. And it could go up too. So I'll give you another example and then maybe you can try to give me an example. Um, so recently I had to plant grass in my yard because I had some work done. And I don't know, have you ever seen grass seeds? They're very
Let's
small,
see.
tiny, very
Oh,
small. So
maybe yeah.
for some reason, birds like to eat those. They like to eat the grass seeds.
Yeah.
So there are always about 10 birds out in my backyard eating the grass seeds. But I don't want them to eat the grass seeds because I want the grass to grow. So sometimes I see them out there and I just get angry and I open the door and I go outside and I just start screaming and waving my arms like this. And the birds immediately take off. That means they just fly away very quickly. But 10 minutes later, they're back. So I've given up. So that means they just go away quickly, fly away. So that's what takeoff means there. So it could be fly away or run quickly or start running or start going or start driving. Okay.
Okay.
So can you think of something that maybe would move quickly or reason you would move quickly where we could use take off?
Mm, maybe uh, a street vendor.
A what?
A street vendor, street food seller.
Street vendor? Oh, you mean that they're selling something they shouldn't sell? They're doing something bad?
Yeah, maybe
Why
something
would
like
Yeah.
something. I don't know how to explain it.
Please. I think I know where you're going. So I want to hear what you have to say.
Maybe just for example, maybe drugs.
Ah. Okay. So wait. So the street vendor is on the street saying drugs, drugs. Who wants drugs? I got all the drugs here. That's a very brave street vendor. Um, Usually, if I'm, walking on the street somewhere, the people selling drugs they'll walk up to you quietly and whisper, "Do you want to buy? Do you want to buy some drugs?" Like that.
Can we change the example?
No, no, I like it. Let me. It's funny. It's a good one. So let's say there's a street vendor on the street selling. Well, actually, let me ask you this: where you live, is it legal for street vendors to sell regular stuff like clothes, food? Are they allowed to do that?
No, they are not allowed, and they're mostly hiding.
Okay, so but they're there though. They still do it.
Yeah, maybe because I've never heard about that.
But what if? Okay, so let's say there's a street vendor not selling drugs, just selling some jewelry on the street.
Yeah.
It happens in New York too. What if they see the police coming?
Uh, a thief, like the example.
What? So okay, there's a street vendor on the street selling jewelry. They're not
Hmm.
supposed to be there. It's illegal because the street vendors are not allowed. They don't have a maybe they don't have a business license or something. And but then the police arrive. What will the street vendor do? Perhaps
Running immediately.
they will run immediately. Probably, yeah, yeah. Have you ever seen that happen before?
No, because they have their show.
Oh, okay, so they're legal. They're selling legally. They're selling
Yeah,
stuff.
there are many here, a lot.
Yeah, that same here in New York. Some people will sell stuff legally, and some people will sell stuff illegally. The illegal ones, they don't have a business license. They're not supposed to be there. The legal ones, they have a shop, like you said. Let's say, for example, this person selling something illegally on the street, and they see the police. How can we say that? Uh,
Uh,
using using take off. I would say
okay.
maybe, yeah.
There is a jewelry seller
Mhm.
that there is a jewelry seller who sell illegal things
Yep. Okay. On the street. Yeah.
on the street, and the police took off after him, took off him.
Well, they might have, but first that he did. So
He
he's
did.
selling jewelry. He knows he shouldn't be doing that there, and he sees the police.
Yeah,
Then we would say
he took off
he took off
when the police came.
when the police came, or when he saw the police. He took off when he saw the police. Or, as you said, he took off when the police arrived on the street. When, we could say, when the police arrived. That would be perfect. So that's a very visual thing. We can see that happening. We can, oh wow. And then you start running. You're scared of the police. So that would be a good way to describe suddenly running. I think it's a very creative way of doing it. I like that better than saying running or suddenly running. It's not super interesting. Okay, so I think the last example we can look at for today for our class is this last one here. It's getting a little late. Maybe we should take off. It's getting a little late. Maybe we should take off. So,
Shoot and
hmm?
finish to finish it.
It could be okay. So that if we're if It depends on what we're doing. If we're at a place and we want to finish being at this place, let's say we're at a party or something, then this take off would be sort of like finish being here. So that's similar to leave. And this
Mm.
is kind of casual. This is not very formal. This is more casual English to take off. So often we say, I'm going to take off, or let's take off, let's leave, and then we'll say the reason for something. Like, I think I'm going to take off. I have to get up early tomorrow morning for work. Something like that. We'll say the reason. And it's a casual, informal feeling of, I have to go. I'm going to go now, basically.
Okay.
So, I think it's pretty late where you are, right?
Yeah.
Getting a little late. So this will be our last example. But let's say, for example, we're doing the class and you need to stop because it's late. So how would you use take off to say that?
Oh, maybe it's like maybe we should finish the lesson because no. Maybe we should take off the lesson because tomorrow because I need to wake up early tomorrow.
Okay. Now, for that one, if it's we, because it's a little complicated, we're in two different places. Actually, if we're together and we're both going to leave, then you're absolutely correct. We would say let's take off. Let's leave another place. But because we're in two different places, you might say that you need to leave, and then because then you would use the same reason. So maybe you could say I should take off because it's getting a little late and I need to wake up early tomorrow. Now, notice I didn't say take off the lesson. So here would just use take off. And sometimes people will just say let's take off. Let's take off. Just means let's leave. Let's go. Let's go. We don't have to add the thing actually after it. So that would be a simple casual. You wouldn't use it in a formal situation. Casual way to say that. Okay?
Yeah.
Any questions about this, Tika?
I think take off. Take off. I think it's clear for me.
Well, if you want to, and what I would recommend would be I will text you all the examples we talked about, and you could look
Yeah.
at them some more and think about them. And I would love if you could make your own examples for each meaning that we talked about today, both for come across and for take off. And then you could
Yeah.
send them to me on WhatsApp. That's fine, and I can check them for you. Would that be okay?
Okay. Yeah. Sure. I will do it.
I would love to do that for you. And if you have any questions, if anything's not clear, just send me a message, and I can maybe give you another example or explain it a little bit more. Okay?
Yeah. I
Okay.
think I will ask you one on one because
Yeah, totally.
ah,
Yeah, you can just send me a message one on one, and I
yeah,
can I can answer that for you. Okay?
yeah. Thank you.